The neighbor did a property line survey a couple weeks ago, and they didn't mark the survey line. There's the mark for the street, Money Street. Marks the center of the road right there. And here's my property line right there on the edge, and in this alley. Here's the easement of the alley. And this is the neighbor over here named Sheila. And that's her beginning of her property line right there. That's that way. And this is the property line easement. So this right here is my property from this point on. And I suppose this right here at this point, I'm going to think, marks the easement of the road. And of course I have the embankment there. But this is the property line. And Sheila, apparently she did this survey because she thinks that she owns this alley. I don't understand it. This woman has junk all over her house, as you can see in the patio and the porch. And she's willing to pay $500-600. I think it's $500 for a survey, full survey. But she's willing to do that. Yet she has a junk house. She has junk all over the place. And she doesn't parks her car in the alley. And like I said, she thinks she owns the alley. So apparently that's why she did it. So anyway, this is the property line survey of my property line. And I really would like the city to come by and completely pave this section, because it's a dirt section over there, which I'll show you, that is unpaved. But there's the property line from Money Street here. It goes up. She parks her car. Sometimes she'll park her car like all the way over here, and you can barely get in the alleyway. And she leaves junk all over her yard. And she even has a broken passenger side window. So again, this is the property line. Comes up this way, and right there's the pin, the bar, rebar, whatever they call it. And here's the property line. It goes that way. I don't know if you can see that bar on the other side, but there's a bar there on the end. A little stake. And when I got this house, I was worried the detached garage was going to be off into the easement. And I was worried about that. I was telling the previous owners that I'm really worried about the end part, the roof of the detached garage sticking over into the easement. But apparently it's an easement, so I don't have to worry about it. So all this from here to here is this easement. And this is the other neighbor's house, another hoarder, junker. Get this back in that line. So that's the easement there. And this person has, as you can see, over-vegetated property, and she doesn't fix it up. Her husband doesn't want to cooperate with me either in cleaning this up. I really would like to have him get rid of all this vegetation, because in the summertime, this stuff gets a big mess, and all the leaves from their trees fall into the easement, and I got to pick it all up. And sometimes it'll get into the driveway, and it makes these marks, and I get piles of leaves and vegetation that come because they have trees in there, black acorn trees, which drop their acorns into the driveway, and that makes my driveway all black. And that's why you get this like black stain in my driveway, because of the walnuts that fall down and eventually disintegrate, and it creates a black stain. And you can see the further you get into the driveway, it's not as blackened. So that's one thing, just a minor inconvenience. I mean, I'm not bothered about it, but I don't understand why people have these big trees, because acorn trees, they can get huge. And I don't understand why people put them on property lines, because they can get 50, 60 feet high, and after years they fall down. But I live with a bunch of hoarders. And of course, I got to fix my fence here too. But this was from the previous owner who put that there, which is pretty good. I mean, I just put these reflectors on there, people from crashing into it. And I also threw some concrete down because all this was all just dirt. And so I just threw some concrete down. I didn't really mix it or anything. I just threw it down. I didn't flatten it down or surface it, but just to get some traction, because all this was just dirt and nobody wants to fix it. So I did it myself. And so again, there's the pin, and here's the property line, easement from here to here. And this starts Sheila's property right here, and that marks the alley from that point to that point. So 12 feet. There's the mid pin, middle point pin right there that the surveyors put down there. And then here, as you can see, this person here, this neighbor, doesn't maintain their property. It's like they can flatten this up, make it look a lot nicer, but they don't do that. I think this person, their mother actually owns this house, I think. And so they just live there. So they don't do anything in this alley. They can put rocks down there or pebbles, but they don't do that. So I've actually done, like every year, I'll put a pile of rocks down just for me to get traction. Because on the motorcycle, it gets difficult to drive through here. And so this is their property line right here. This marks the alley going down into Hill Street. And this is the end of Sheila's property line right there. Here's the bar there. And it goes on this way. And Sheila also keeps garbage on her vegetation there. Black walnuts. I don't understand why people put black walnuts in a residential area near their homes. Because these black walnuts trees, they can not fall over and land on your roof. I don't understand that thinking, but that's what people do. And I really wish she would clear this vegetation out, but she's old, and I don't think she ever will. But the good thing is, in the summertime, it keeps the road noise down a bit. But you can put nice bushes in here or something like that. They keep it sound barrier, but they don't do that. So this is the rest of the alley. And down this way, when it gets a little lower, it gets muddier because of the rainwater, and the moisture comes down from this little incline over here. And so it puddles down. And like I said, you see little rocks here? Those are rocks that I put there. And trying to maintain it because I bring my motorcycle over here and it's hard to keep balance with this mud here. So you get into the soft dirt or mud and slip. And already somebody knocked this bar over. Person, barely you see that they came over and crashed into it. So that bar is already gone. That stake. That's the property line. And there's the alley. I really wish they would pave this. It would be so much more convenient. There's one house in the neighborhood. I get this messed up alley to get to. And you can see there's a little bit of concrete there that I put down there within the past several years with the rocks. But nobody else does anything for it. They just put garbage and black walnut tree, old black walnuts, form into the dirt. All right, so there's the alley update. And of course, there's Hill Street. Mr. Phillips' house over there. And then Hill Street turns into Valley River Avenue, which is another thing that's stupid because Valley River Avenue used to, before this Hill Street was built, This used to be Valley River Avenue, and Valley River Avenue used to come down all the way back over there. And I don't understand why they don't make this Hill Street Valley River Avenue, because it comes Valley River Avenue over there, and that's how where that truck is. But here, it starts at this Hill Street, and you would think it would be better named for the entire road to be Valley River Avenue instead of calling it Hill Street. That's just my opinion. I'm not in charge, so nobody cares what I think. As I always say. So we're gonna walk back home, and that's the alley update. And hopefully, like I said, they will pave this eventually. I don't know who they would do that. I guess the city. And I don't have no knowledge of any plans that they want to do that. But Sheila, like I said, she's a hoarder, and she did this survey, and so now we know exactly where the alley is and the easements are, and hopefully Sheila won't keep blocking this alley. And she gets upset when the garbage guys come over here for whatever reason. She thinks she owns the alley. That's what you do when you live as a hoarder. You try to think you're in charge of stuff when you're not. All right, so there's my alley update. Thanks for listening.